My sister shocked everyone by announcing her pregnancy at my engagement party. Everyone laughed. But that night I discovered the dark, cruel truth she'd been hiding from our family for years when everything unfolded. It felt like a nightmare wrapped in laughter. My engagement party, the one I had dreamed about for months, turned into my sister's stage yet again. She stole the spotlight in front of everyone, smirked, and said the words that still ring in my head. "Oops, guess I did it again." And everyone, even my parents, laughed. My name is Lena Parker, I'm 29, and this is how my sister's announcement at my engagement party made me realize I'd never truly mattered to my family. The very next morning, my fiancé Daniel Reed and I sent out a brand new save the date. Only this time it wasn't for a wedding. It was to announce that we'd already eloped in Las Vegas. When my sister realized what that card said, she completely lost it. But let me rewind. Daniel and I have been together for 4 years. He proposed 3 months ago during a hiking trip on the same mountain trail where we had our first date. He knelt down right by the lake where we shared our first kiss, pulled out a ring, and asked me to marry him. I cried so hard I could barely say yes. It was the most perfect, quiet, and sincere moment of my life. And then there's my sister, Maya Parker, 25, the golden child. She's always been the shining star in our family. Maya got straight A's while I battled dyslexia. Maya was the head cheerleader while I warmed the bench. Maya went to Yale with an early admission. I attended community college before transferring. Maya landed a high-paying marketing job. I juggled 3 part-time gigs to pay rent. You get the picture. But the worst part, Maya has a gift for making every single event about herself. When I graduated college, she used my celebration dinner to announce she was moving to New York. At our grandmother's funeral, she told everyone about her promotion. When I bought my first car, she drove up in a brand new BMW. She can't stand a spotlight unless she's standing in it. So when Daniel and I started planning our engagement party, I was careful, painfully careful. I picked a weekend Maya said she couldn't come because of a business trip in Denver. For once, I thought I'd finally have a moment that was just mine. I decorated everything myself, made Pinterest-inspired hors d'oeuvres, crafted every banner, arranged candles and flowers by hand. I rented a private dining room at our favorite restaurant and created a slideshow of all our photos together. For once, it was going to be about us. The party started perfectly. People were laughing, smiling, clinking glasses. Daniel looked incredible in his navy suit, and I couldn't stop grinning. And then, at 5:30 p.m., I got the text. "Surprise, my conference ended early. I caught the first flight out and I'm on my way to your little celebration." My stomach dropped. I knew exactly what that meant, but I tried to stay positive. Maybe, just maybe, she'd act like a normal human being for once. She showed up an hour later in a deep red designer dress, hair perfect, makeup flawless, walking in like she was the guest of honor. She hugged everyone dramatically, apologized for being late, and made sure everyone turned their heads. Still, I smiled and hugged her. I wanted to believe she was just there to be supportive. Then right before we cut the cake, she clinked her champagne glass. "Everyone, may I have your attention for a second?" My chest tightened. Daniel looked at me with the same sinking dread. "I know this night is about Lena and Daniel," she began sweetly, "but I just can't keep this secret any longer." She paused long enough for everyone to lean in. Then she grinned. "I'm pregnant." The room exploded into cheers. People jumped up, screaming, hugging her. My mother squealed and twirled her around. My father started laughing so hard he had tears in his eyes. My grandmother clapped like she'd just heard the best news of her life. The cake knife nearly slipped out of my hand. Then Maya looked straight at me, smirked, and said, "Sorry, sis. Guess I stole the spotlight again, huh?" People laughed, like it was some innocent sibling joke. Then Mom, my own mother, said, "Finally, some truly exciting news worth celebrating." Everyone nodded, agreeing that babies are way more special than simple engagements. No one noticed the slideshow still playing behind them. No one even remembered the cake. I stood there smiling tightly, refusing to cry. Daniel's arm around me was the only thing keeping me from walking out. For the next 2 hours, everyone crowded around Maya, asking about baby names and due dates, while I faded into the background. By the end of the night, guests were saying, "Congrats on the baby, Maya. Oh, and Lena, nice party." I stayed behind afterward, cleaning up leftover decorations and untouched cake, silently crying as I packed away the handmade banners that said Lena and Daniel. Daniel was furious. "I can't believe your parents just went along with that," he said. "I can," I muttered. "It's what they always do." That's when he said, half jokingly, "We should have just gone to Vegas." and that idea stuck. At 3 a.m. I woke him up. "Let's do it," I said. "Do what?" "Elopement, Vegas, this weekend." He blinked at me half asleep, and then realized I was serious. I didn't want a big wedding anymore, not after that night. I wanted to marry the man I loved without having to compete for attention. So we planned everything within an hour, booked the flights, the chapel, the hotel, and it felt good, liberating, but I wasn't done yet. Sunday morning, instead of mailing our original wedding invitations, I sent out new save the dates. They looked elegant, white and gold, with a photo of Daniel and me smiling after our ceremony. The front said, "Lena and Daniel Reed just married." And below, "We eloped in Las Vegas on March 15th, surrounded by strangers who were genuinely happy for us." But the back, that's where I let it all out. "We want to thank everyone who came to our engagement party. It was eye-opening to see who celebrated our love and who came for free food. We realized we don't need a big wedding filled with people who think our relationship is less exciting than other news. We found joy in a place where strangers cheered louder than family did." If you're wondering whether you'll be invited to our post-wedding dinner, ask yourself this: did you congratulate us before congratulating someone else that night? If the answer is no, then you probably won't be hearing from us. With love, always, Mr. and Mrs. Reed. P.S. We'll be honeymooning in Hawaii. Please don't expect quick replies. I had 150 of them printed overnight and sent out Monday morning to everyone, family, friends, coworkers. It was brutal and perfect. Vegas was magical. We laughed through the entire ceremony. Elvis married us under neon lights, and random tourists clapped for us on the street. It was everything our engagement party wasn't: joyful, genuine, and full of love. Then, as we were celebrating with champagne in our hotel room, my phone started buzzing nonstop. My mom, my dad, Maya, my aunts, friends, dozens of calls and messages. The save the date had detonated like a bomb in the family group chats. We ignored them all until Maya started calling Daniel. "Daniel, please talk to her. She's being ridiculous. I didn't mean to hurt anyone." He calmly replied, "Maya, we're married now. We're happy. That's all that matters," and hung up. That's when she went nuclear. She called my office, my friends, even my old college roommate, crying about how I was tearing the family apart. One of my best friends, who'd seen the entire engagement party disaster, told her, "You brought this on yourself, Maya." After 3 days of chaos, my parents begged me to come home and talk things out like family. But I wasn't interested. Then something unexpected happened. My Grandma Ruth, who's usually the family peacekeeper, called me. I braced myself for another guilt trip. Instead, she sighed and said, "Lena, I've watched Maya pull this for years, and I should have spoken up sooner." I froze. She continued, "She's been stealing your moments since she was 3 years old, and your parents let her because it was easier than dealing with her tantrums. When you won the school science fair, she cried until they took her out for ice cream. When you got your driver's license, she announced she had a boyfriend at your birthday dinner. And I just watched it happen." Her voice cracked. "You were never wrong to feel overshadowed. I just wish I'd told you that sooner." I cried, hard. For the first time, someone in my family actually saw me. Daniel and I are still in Hawaii as I write this. We're sitting on a balcony overlooking the ocean, laughing about how crazy everything got. I don't regret a thing. For once in my life, my happiness wasn't overshadowed by my sister, and it feels incredible. "But sweetheart," my mom said softly, "sometimes the boat needs to be rocked, and sometimes it needs to be completely flipped over." That conversation with her meant more than I could ever explain. She told me she was proud of me for finally standing my ground, that my save the dates message was bold, maybe a little harsh, but powerful. She said relatives had been calling non-stop about the family drama, but her response to everyone was the same. Lena did what she needed to do. Hearing that was healing in ways I hadn't expected. It made me feel seen, validated, like maybe I wasn't crazy or overly sensitive all these years. I was still thinking about that when the next call came in. It was from my cousin, Rachel Parker. She's around my sister Maya's age, and I'd always thought she was closer to Maya than to me. She called on Tuesday afternoon while Daniel and I were getting a couple's massage at the resort spa. "Lena, I've been meaning to tell you something for years," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "But I never had the guts." "What is it?" I asked, already uneasy. "Maya does this to everyone, not just you." "What do you mean?" "She did it at my graduation party. She announced she was moving to Los Angeles right in the middle of my speech. She did it again at my bridal shower, giving this huge talk about being single and loving her independence. And at my baby shower, she spent the whole time talking about her promotion and how she was too busy for kids." I was speechless. I'd always thought Rachel and Maya were best friends. Why didn't you ever say anything? I asked. Because I didn't want to start drama, because I thought maybe I was overreacting. Maya always made it sound like she was just sharing good news, not trying to steal anyone's spotlight. Then she said something that hit me like a punch. But watching her at your engagement party, seeing that smirk after she announced her pregnancy, that's when I realized it's always on purpose. Rachel went on to tell me story after story, family gatherings, holidays, birthdays, every time Maya had managed to shift attention to herself. She spreads it around, Rachel said. She never targets the same person twice in a row. That's why no one ever connects the dots. But there's definitely a pattern, Lena. That realization was both validating and infuriating. It meant Maya's behavior wasn't random. It was a calculated pattern she'd perfected for years. And soon the floodgates opened. By Wednesday, I was getting messages from old classmates, distant relatives, even people I hadn't spoken to in a decade. Maya's old high school friends said she used to pull the same stunts at school events. College acquaintances remembered her doing it at parties. Even some of Daniel's friends told me they'd noticed Maya trying to redirect attention away from others during get-togethers. But the message that really got me came from my old college roommate, Lee. She texted me, "Lena, I've been following all this family drama online, and I have to tell you, Maya called me 3 years ago after you got promoted. She asked all these personal questions about your relationship, your job, your future. I thought she was just being a curious sister. But now, I'm wondering if she was fishing for information to use against you." The more I learned, the angrier I became. Maya wasn't just impulsive, she was strategic. She planned these moments. She'd been quietly sabotaging people's happiness for years. Then came another message from someone I hadn't spoken to since high school, my old best friend, Ava. "Lena, I saw a post about what happened and had to reach out. I think Maya's the reason we stopped talking. After graduation, she told me you'd said you were done with old friends, that you only wanted to hang out with your new college crowd. I was crushed. I thought you turned into someone else." Reading that shattered me. Ava and I had been inseparable once. I'd always wondered why she cut me off so suddenly. Now I knew Maya had poisoned that friendship too. I called Ava immediately. We talked for 2 hours, cried, and promised to meet up when I got back home. She told me she'd always missed me but felt too embarrassed to reach out. That conversation opened something in me. It was like I could finally see all the ways Maya had quietly chipped away at my life, friendships, opportunities, even my confidence. Through it all, Daniel was incredible. He listened, comforted me, and never once made me feel dramatic or petty. "I saw glimpses of this," he said quietly, "but I didn't realize how deep it went. I'm so sorry, Lena. You didn't deserve that." "I feel so stupid," I whispered. "How did I never see it?" "Because you assume the best in people," he said. "Especially your family. You gave her the benefit of the doubt because that's who you are." That night, I made up my mind. No more excuses, no more half-boundaries. I blocked Maya's number, blocked her on social media, decided I wouldn't speak to her again, at least not until I could process everything I'd learned. Then I started reaching out to people she'd hurt through me. I wanted to fix what she'd broken, to apologize to anyone who'd been collateral damage in her games. It was exhausting but liberating. For the first time, I wasn't making excuses for her. I wasn't covering for her chaos. I was finally free. Then on Wednesday it happened, the call I didn't expect. I was lying by the hotel pool in Maui, reading and sipping a Mai Tai when my phone buzzed. "Maya." I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. "What do you want, Maya?" "Lena, please, I need to talk to you. I'm at the airport. I'm flying to Hawaii." My stomach dropped. "You're what?" "I need to see you. We need to fix this." "Maya, you're not flying here. This is my honeymoon, the honeymoon after the wedding you tried to ruin." "I didn't try to ruin anything. I was just excited about my pregnancy." "You announced your pregnancy at my engagement party, smiled, and said you'd stolen the spotlight. Don't pretend you didn't mean it." "I was joking. You took it too seriously." "You humiliated me, Maya. You turned one of the happiest days of my life into your moment." Silence. Then softly, "Ethan left." "What?" "He left. He said he wasn't ready to be a dad. I'm going to be a single mom. I'm scared, Lena." And there it was, the real reason she called. Not guilt, not remorse, fear. She needed a safety net. "I'm sorry that happened," I said. "Truly. But that doesn't erase what you did." "But I need you," she begged. "I need my family. I know I messed up, but I'm sorry. I really am." "No, Maya, you're sorry because your plan fell apart. If Ethan was still around, would you be calling me now?" Her silence was answer enough. "I've spent my whole life being the bigger person," I said quietly. defending you, forgiving you. But I'm done being your backup plan. Lena, please. I'm married now, I have a husband who puts me first, and I'm not going to let you keep treating me like an afterthought. She started crying, loud, messy, dramatic sobs. Please don't do this, I'm pregnant and alone. You should have thought of that before turning my engagement party into your announcement show. I hope you get the help you need, but I'm not that help anymore. Please, Goodbye, Maya, and I hung up. Daniel looked over from his lounge chair. You okay? I smiled through tears. Yeah, I said. For the first time in my life, I actually am. The rest of our honeymoon was perfect, hiking, snorkeling, eating local food, dreaming about our future. We talked about our first house, the trips we'd take, and the family we'd build, everything except the drama I'd left behind. When we got home, there were flowers waiting for us. 24 roses from my parents, we're sorry. We love you, please call us. And a small bouquet of daisies from Maya, I'm sorry, I love you. I put them both in vases, but I didn't call anyone, not yet. I needed peace first. A week later, my mom called. Lena, honey, please, can we talk? Just dinner, I promise Maya won't be there. I hesitated, then agreed. I missed them. Dinner was awkward at first, polite smiles, soft voices tiptoeing around the tension. But eventually, the walls came down. We were wrong, my dad admitted. We were so wrapped up in Maya's excitement that we forgot that night was about you. That wasn't fair. We've been enabling her for years, my mom said, teary-eyed. Telling ourselves she didn't mean harm, but when we saw how hurt you were, we realized how blind we'd been. We're proud of you, my dad added. You finally stood up for yourself. It's the first time you've both said that out loud, I whispered. They nodded. It didn't fix everything, but it was a start. What about Maya? I asked finally. She's struggling, Mom said quietly. Being pregnant and alone is hard, but she's in therapy now. She says she's trying to change. That's good, I said. She needs it. She wants to apologize properly, Dad added. Not a half-hearted sorry, a real one. I took a deep breath. Maybe one day. But not yet. They respected that. The rest of the evening was calm. We talked about the wedding, the honeymoon, the house we were planning to buy. For the first time in years, the conversation wasn't about Maya. It was about me. And for once, that felt exactly right. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to leave a comment, hit subscribe, follow for more, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next one.